is where you can meet a Norwich City or a Reading or a Burnley or one of these small teams like Southampton or funny names playing against the big boys in the FA Cup. So today we're going to talk about the FA Cup. And if you go move over to other leagues in the La Liga, in the Bundesliga, lovely game for yesterday for Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund. Good game for good game of football yesterday. It was about 5 goals thriller in that game. So we're going to talk about all that on the show. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Vote Sports on Vote 104.3 FM. My name is Godwin, and I'm here with John. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, football maniacs. It's an FA Cup weekend, and I'm excited to get into the games.
Good morning, Nos. How are you?
Good morning. If I say the weekend not the boring, no.
Because people lost again.
If I say the weekend not the boring, no.
Very true.
Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show.
West Ham with their new coach, Graham Potter, lost his first game in charge. Even though he had only one day to train with the boys, so I would actually overlook that.
I looked at the bench. There was no pace to replace anybody. Then when he did the sub last, I was as maybe yesterday. I just woke up to go and sleep. But I came back after 2 minutes. I saw Anonana. Then he is now -1 first of all. Then when he brought in what was his name, Kufa, that was where the problem just started. I felt like, oh, but this guy is not my.
The problem is that you will never like any other West Ham manager apart from David Moyes, who you campaign to get out of the job.
I have loved Slaven Bilic. I have loved him. I have loved great managers coming to the job. Not because I have loved great managers coming to the job.
Okay, we'll get into that. I know you're always passionate about West Ham, but in this show, don't talk about West Ham that much. So
yes,
we talk about big boys.
We talk about
the big boys.
Don't talk about. I cannot be talking about West Ham.
Can you imagine?
Aston Villa not going to Champions League. They're not playing in Champions League.
They're talking about. Come here. I'm talking about.
They're talking about the big boys. Big boys now Tottenham Hotspur. We'll call their names now. Tottenham Hotspur. How many trophies they get?
Okay, guys, welcome to the show. Today is FA Cup. Remember, we are live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports, so you can join us there. Drop your comments. I will be reading your comments live here in the studio. So there are results that happened yesterday in the FA Cup, and part of that game where as already started talking about it, is Aston Villa versus West Ham. Aston Villa winning that game 2-1.
As predicted. Yeah, as predicted for me. The only exciting glimpse of the game I caught was Paqueta's shots that went off target later on. But for me, I was already sold on the fact that Aston Villa I wanted to say similar, that Aston Villa were going to walk away with the win. And when I checked up the game last night after it had ended, I was delightful that it panned out the way I wanted it to go. Aston Villa scoring 2 goals in that encounter.
Did you see the full 90 minutes?
That's why I said,
you don't really send the 90 minutes because you know for your mind.
Glimpse, yes, and I knew that Aston
But we
Villa,
play them ball.
You play nothing, bro.
We play them ball.
You play nothing.
Got the first goal.
I like the fact that you can always come here and argue, or you put up a fight.
John got the first goal.
After everything, Alpha.
John got the first goal in the first 90. I think in the first 9 minutes.
Yes.
First 9 minutes of the game. Got the first goal. Did a sub. If they do that sub, we all know that the Inks are -1. That's why at some point, if you notice, if Anthony is not playing and they start and the Inks ahead of Fulkrug, I'm like, okay, fine. Fulkrug now, I know what I said about Fulkrug, and you're like, he's a good player, this, that. When I don't play, maybe they start play all those small games. He started yesterday game, and after 11 minutes, after 20 minutes, he was off, injured again. This is like the 5th time he's going on an injury in just one season, and you're just new for the club. Yeah, this is the 5th time. And
the club is not managing his
the money because the famous that you use 35 million, bring this guy in. If you have paid 45 million, you have gotten a John Duran.
Why are you crying over spilled milk?
You get now. I'm telling you about the game I saw yesterday.
You're crying about John Duran, who is performing somewhere else.
They played a good game yesterday until this guy went off injured. And when he went off injured, then the Inks came in. I felt like, okay, fine, let's manage this sub. You can try. And then the Inks was not camping, he was dropping into midfield, he was trying his best dropping into midfield. Until Aston Villa I think they scored the goal, it was now 1-1. Onana got the goal and it was good. They still put up the fight. Aston Villa was trying to get into the game. While we were looking for pace on the bench, there was no pace on the bench. All thanks to Charlie, who is just the player from the academy who was supposed to just do the work from the left back. And this time I just decided to do a sub. And he took out somebody I don't know. Somebody is trying to control the game, and he brought in a Kufa, which means he's going to send Now, I don't know if you're trying to defend a 1-0 win or you're trying to defend a 1-1 draw. He took out a midfielder and brought in a defender in Kufau. Vladimir Kufau came in and the defense line changed to three center halves. While Saka went to the left and Kufau stayed at the right. So it was not a 5-man defense against Aston Villa when you're trying to get the win.
Because you guys were being overrun.
It's not being overrun. There is no sub that could go forward in the bench. There was no forward basic players on the bench. I looked at the bench yesterday and I felt like these players on the bench are just old men. They can't.
You have Rodriguez on the bench.
Okay, that game.
You have Cresswell and Soler. You have Andy Irving and the other guy. You have players on the bench. What about your Palmeiras signing? Your Palmeiras signing that came into the game. What about that?
Luis Guilherme is not pacey enough. I say pace. I talk say pace and intelligence. He know the bench.
He didn't dare your team now. You guys don't have pacey.
So
you guys don't have anybody
if I'm going to cry about
you have nobody injured.
Who say you don't have nobody injured?
You have nobody
if I'm going to cry about the disputes make, I'll say every player he brought in. When I was saying it in the summer, everyone feel like he's the manager. He wants to play like that. Every player he brought into the Premier League this summer are not Premier League worthy. Except for Luis Guilherme, and Luis Guilherme still needs time. A young boy, he needs enough time. So every player now, you don't say for the fact now, Newman they don't come in. Every player will come into that squad for summer. None of them were I'm not even saying West Ham worthy. None of them are Premier League worthy.
I like the allegations you're making, saying that all the players they signed were not Premier League worthy, which means the managers just threw money in the air and at the end of the day ended up catching nothing, right? But when these guys came in for the beginning part of the season, when you guys were firing, when it looked as if everything was panning out,
I talk waiting. I was not here.
Boasting in the fact that you guys could win games, boasting that you guys are going back to
I said that about Solar. I said the target is
Solar came in on free, bro.
No,
you can't complain about Solar. Solar came in on free, yes or no?
Solar.
Yes or no, man?
I'm calling the names of players that came in. I'm not paying them. Is it free?
Bro, did you pay transfer for the guy? You didn't pay transfer for the guy. The guy is over 30. What were you expecting? Bro? So you can't come in here and blame Lopetegui for his signing, say that they are not worthy.
I will blame him because I thought from the beginning of season.
Those guys, they are a group of managers in the backroom staff that looked up these players and okayed the transfer.
I talk it from the beginning of season when they signed these players. I talk them. Nobody saying you go talk matter say I no talk them. But for beginning of season, go back to the show and I said it that they were not Premier League worthy. I said it first.
Okay, that game ended 2-1 for Aston Villa. The first game for Graham Potter, he lost that game. But even though he didn't have enough time to train with his boys, so let's see if there's going to be improvement for the next time they play their next game. So I have to overlook that one because it's just
it's on record. There's no overlooking.
One training and one loss. So let's see how they are going to progress after sacking their coach Lopetegui. They brought in Graham Potter. So let's see what happens with West Ham United. Okay, let's move on to today's fixtures, and I'm going to giving you only fixtures that involve the Premier League boys. Bristol City is going to play Wolves. Liverpool is going to play Accrington, and that's what the small. I think they are. I think they are in Division 1. So Liverpool is going to play at Anfield against them. Nottingham Forest is going to play Luton Town. That Victor Moses is going to play today. And Leicester City is going to play Queen's Park Rangers. Chelsea is going to play Morecambe.
Yeah.
Some of these names are funny. So Chelsea is going to play at Stamford Bridge at Morecambe. Bournemouth is playing West Brom. Norwich City is playing Brighton. And Manchester City is playing Salford City. They will trash these people. They will kill them.
Salford is actually
is a club in Manchester.
Yeah, it's a club in Manchester, but it's owned by the likes of
the class of '92.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be a drubbing.
So let's see what happens in this game. These are the fixtures for the Premier League boys that are playing. Those are playing tomorrow. Tottenham is playing tomorrow. So let's see what these guys are going to be playing today. Okay, let's talk about some of those games. Let's start with Chelsea. Chelsea is playing at Stamford Bridge against Morecambe. What do you think will happen in that game? It's going to be a trash. You don't need to be just dwell in this game. It's going to be like 5-0. Not about 7-0 or 5-0.
For me, it's supposed to be just a straight win. I don't see Morecambe coming up to put up a fight, even though so we say they'll put up a fight. At the end of the day, it's just a walkover. So let's see though, because Chelsea have a way of bottling their games because of their defense. But I'm not going to put more camp as the guy is coming away with a win here, even though I'm open to surprise.
Shocker, no shebiti. Now I'm going to play in the evening because you're saying Morecambe and no, you don't talk. The only problem Chelsea has is defense. If they want to
That's
play,
the thing, though.
if they want to play Calabar defense with disaster, no problem. Anywhere you want to pair it, you play Disasi and Achipong in defense, you might get a result. Anyhow you want to see it. But I believe there's a Tosi who can come into that. The people Chelsea have been playing a different line of players from the Premier League to the Carabao, what's it called, to the Carabao Cup, to the FA Cup, to the Conference League. Understand this, but in this game, you need if you want to win, just play your best legs. Even if it's your substitute best legs.
Against Morecambe, come on.
Against these guys,
You
come
can't
on.
play your best
I
legs.
think
Morecambe, I just say if Morecambe
You
meets
can't play your
Noah,
best legs
I think that-
against this guy.
I think that those guys that are playing in conference league
Should come and play this game. Simple and short. You have GU up front. You have what's his name now on.
if you are saying the guys that play the Conference
And
League,
then
and
Imani
this guy they start though. Only Marco still plays the Premier League. You say players that played in what's it called Conference League. Now still in Kunku.
Yeah, they should start. That's what I'm saying. How many minutes has Nkunku played in the Premier League? They should be playing these games. Okay, let's get a prediction for that game. Your scoreline. This one, I know Chelsea will win, but what's the scoreline?
You say everybody don't be quiet because nobody know wetin Chelsea don play.
Chelsea playing out
4-1.
4-1, yeah.
Oh, both of you agreed with 4-1. Okay, let's see what Chelsea is going
Or
to do.
5-0 anyway.
4-1 or if Chelsea is going to
I
win
don't change my mind. 2-1.
Okay, let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool is playing Accrington Stanley at Anfield. Trashing again.
You know, somebody said something and I'm laughing at the person. He said Liverpool currently are uninformed. And Man United played an uninformed Liverpool. And I look at it, I'm like, what was the last 3 records before they met? And if you get my talk, say Man United played an uninformed Liverpool, you look at Liverpool last 5 games and look at Man United last 5 games. You can't use your own full chest, talk who they informed and who they informed. Okay. And in this game now, Liverpool would want to regain their confidence or want to regain
I
the
don't
form
think
that they
there was
lost.
any confidence lost or form
No,
lost.
the form
for
was
me.
lost.
For me, no form lost, no confidence lost. It's the same thing. You grinded out a draw and you move on. Like there's no need to come back and say, "Hey, we lose form." You don't need to dwell on those things. You played a good game. You drew the game.
I don't
and
even
you move
understand what
on.
they are talking
Simple.
about
Like
because
for me, it's crazy how you can say that Man U played an out of form Liverpool for where how.
they are not out of form. Even if you are Barcelona, prime Barcelona, we are drawing games, losing some games. That's how it works everywhere in football. No matter how informed you are, you always lose some games to win some games. So, but in this game, everybody is knowing that it's going to be a trashing. That I don't think that
Obviously, it's going to be a trashing.
How many 0?
How many 0?
Because it's going to be trashing. Last time I feel no reach 4.
Well, trashing is still 4-0.
You know go reach 4. 3-0
is
highest.
still a
He
trashing.
go win. Liverpool go win.
3-0 is still a trashing. Simple.
Okay, for that game, okay, let's see what happens in that game. Okay, let's talk about Manchester City. Manchester City are playing today, John. What do you think will happen today?
Martin now. Salford, which division are they again?
Division 1.
I'm more focused on my transfers than Salford. I wouldn't be worried about Salford.
Okay, that game, let's get your scoreline for that game too. I don't want to
Maybe a modest 5-0.
A modest
2-0.
2-0.
Because he go with academic graduates now.
A modest 5-0.
Okay, that's all for the Premier League for guys playing today. For tomorrow game, let's give you the fixtures for tomorrow game, and we'll talk about some of them. I just wanted to clear out for today's fixtures and then talk about tomorrow because tomorrow is Arsenal is going to play Manchester United. So for tomorrow fixtures in the FA Cup is Stanwart versus Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle versus Bromley, Ipswich Town versus Bristol Rovers, Arsenal versus Manchester United. That is going to be the biggest game in this FA Cup round. Crystal Palace versus Stockport, Southampton versus Swansea and that's the final game for the Premier League clubs. Okay, let's talk about the small ones before we end up with the big boys before we move over to transfer and other results in other leagues. Okay, let's get a prediction for the sports game. The Stanwart versus Tottenham Hotspur. You remember Angie is looking for that trophy, and I saw a quote again that he said that people are laughing at me that I made that statement that I win trophies in my second season, but I know what I'm saying. He's very sure that he's going to win one trophy this season.
Yeah, it remains to be seen though. He's in the running for the Carabao Cup as at this point, and it would be nice for him to pick up a routine win over Tamworth and qualify to the fourth round of the FA Cup. I think the most important thing for Ange and his push for a trophy in this second season is who he gets drawn up against in the next round. That's the most important thing, because if you look at today's fixtures and you look at tomorrow's fixtures, a lot of the big teams are drawn up against smaller sides,
yes.
and a lot of smaller teams are drawn up against equal smaller teams as well too. So it's going to be nice to see who makes it through and what the round 4 draw is going to look like.
Okay. Spurs is probably have
I
to
think
win
the
that
only
one.
outlier is this United Arsenal fixture.
Yeah, that's the only outlier.
outlier.
However, maybe Aston Villa and West Ham. That's only the two big boys playing each other. Okay, but let's see what happens in that game. I think Spurs is going to win that game. Okay, let's talk about Newcastle is going to win their own. They are playing Bromley,
yeah.
so they are playing Bromley.
What if Bromley now win?
You know, there is this thing about FA Cup. Sometimes FA Cup shocks. It happens once. In a
It
while,
happens when
where
it happens
like division,
just
from
Division
nowhere.
4.
Of course, and
We-
you know that's their trophy for the season, winning an Arsenal, winning a Newcastle or whatever. But for me,
there was a year MK does.
I think we can go back over history and look at all those bright sparks. But for me, at this point in time now, in this stage of the season, a lot of Premier League clubs are already out of the Carabao Cup, so they are going to be looking at the FA Cup.
This is their only chance for them
I said, yes, Ange could be out of the Carabao Cup come early February, or he could stick, his chances of getting a silverware by getting through this one. So I don't think most big 6, big 8 clubs are going to play with the FA Cup.
I think if you look at the smaller, the Premier League club that is, if they look like losing game, is going to be Southampton versus Swansea, because Southampton have not actually done well in
the Premier League, yes.
So,
and they played last season together.
Yes, Swansea will fancy their chance going to Southampton to get a result.
Same too for these other guys, West Brom, fancying their chances too. So let's just see how it goes. For me, I think Spurs will get a win. If it's any close, it's going to be a narrow win, but Spurs winning.
Bournemouth is in the 3rd division or League 2, so definitely they'll run them riot, they'll run them over. It's just what I feel.
But I think it's a good thing for them is when you play some of these, but especially when you play at home, it's a chance for you that is put up a small fight. Not like necessarily that you might win, you might not win, but at least if you put up a fight, it will give you a confidence boost
to play against your division.
Imagine that you play against
Man City.
You play against Man City and they win you 2-1.
And they win you 2-1. And you play them half it.
You understand? You go get boost enter your.
If I play against Bromley next week, I go just fire them 17-0 because I did the same level with Man City.
Okay, let's move on to the big one. The big one is Arsenal versus Manchester United. That is the biggest game in the FA Cup. So let's dwell a little bit on that. Arsenal is going to play Manchester United. They lost their first leg in the Carabao Cup against Newcastle at home. Now they are playing in Manchester United. I won't say they are in form, but this is 2025. So they started 2025 with a point against Liverpool, so it's good for them. But for Arsenal won the first game in 2025. Then they lost that Carabao Cup. Now, if you look at this game against Manchester United, I feel like both of them will play their full squad again.
Normally,
they play a full squad. But what do you think will happen in that game? Who do you think will win in this game first?
I think Amorim wants it more in the sense that he's already out of the Carabao Cup even before he came in, and it's just this Carabao Cup and the Premier League, if I'm correct.
Yeah. No,
and the
Europa
League.
Okay, and the Europa League.
You don't have money for Europe already. They are still in the European competition. Don't do that.
Are they in the automatic sports? They still have to fight to qualify.
No, they don't. It doesn't mean anything. Even if they just 2 games now to carry them, they are still in the qualification playoff rounds. But
I like that you're giving Man U fans, so because I know that you're waiting for them. It's fine. It's fine. But in this scenario, I think Manchester United won the FA Cup more. Okay. And so it's Arsenal's FA Cup to lose if they can't match that intensity and if they don't pick the right squad.
So talking about the intensity that Manchester United put up for against Liverpool was Everybody was talking about the intensity, even after
Even
the
Amorim too.
Amorim talked about the intensity. Fernando, their captain, talked about the intensity. They couldn't even believe that they could play this kind of football for a very long time. Now they are going to play Arsenal. Arsenal are strong at the Emirates, even though they lost against Newcastle. But if you look at that game, Arsenal missed a couple of chances. They couldn't bury their chances. That's why Arsenal has been trying for a clinical striker. Somebody that can finish that game. So if Arsenal create chances, they might score. But for Manchester United, what do you think will happen in that game?
Before that game against Liverpool, I said he had enough time. He had a week to train for Liverpool. He had instructions to give out. He had some ways of motivating his players for that game. And he's also had that 1 week again, that 1 week window to play against Arsenal. Now, Arsenal, on the other hand, had a 1 week window to rest some of their players. So that rest period, that week period, that period you can train with the player, dish out instructions, dish out formations, talk about tactics with your team mate and your team players, helps you get organized for the next match. And I think that's just the window he needed so far. You get going into this Arsenal game now, he might have done his own work about the Arsenal game. Losing, I think he was in charge when they lost to 2 set piece and all of that. The last game, he was in charge
2-0.
Now going into this game now, he would know what to correct about it. He would know how to defend his set pieces. He would know how to disorganize the midfield in Arsenal and know how to, because he has put up that 1 week training session with the team.
For me, I wouldn't think that the most important thing for Amorim now is fixing the defending set piece problem, because you have a greater problem in players not generally putting up a standard performance, which is you show up and you work your butt off or whatever, and you go out there and you leave it all on the pitch. We have players, look at what he said after. He said after looking at that result, he goes back to the last 5-6 games and he tells himself that what happened there, because these players didn't show up. And how do you feel as a manager when you feel like your players are just coasting by? It's as if they don't want to play for the team. So for me, the most important thing is if these Manchester United players can actually show up the way they did against Liverpool every day, one, and then secondly, if we see them play the way they played in terms of attack. For example, Manchester United, you just see them move the ball sideways, they go back to their own half and they start coming out again. It's the same thing we see them recycling week in, week out. So for me, focusing on the defending set piece is good though, but it shouldn't be top of the order in this 1 week. It should be how can the team perform and how can the team attack better. Because you see them exploiting one wing over the other, and the other guy seems to be sleeping on the wheel on the other side of the attack. So how can they utilize everybody in that team to get the result they need?
Well, like I said, I didn't say one wing, or I said set. I mentioned the way you could focus on, but there are other areas you could focus on: the midfield area, the attack. I said everything. They had one way to shut down Arsenal, so Arsenal does not come into the game and hurt them, and they have a way of shutting down Arsenal to get the results they need. You get, it's just one thing about saying I want to play against Man City, and your training session doesn't involve how you can stop Man City from attacking you. At some point, you train how you can stop Man City. You also put into training consideration how you can go further and make your team better than Man City's team, or how your tactics can stop Man City and how you can get a result from that game. It's not totally about only how you can stop Man City. So in this game, it's not about how you can just stop Arsenal from getting a set piece. You also need to get a way of getting goals. Get a way of stopping their defensive line from working to their full potential and getting the result you need.
Okay, for Arsenal, if you look at Arsenal, we talked about Amorim now. For Arsenal, what do they need to do to win in this game? Because Arsenal fans are worried. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is they need. But something is wrong with this Arsenal team. Sometimes, even though somebody was saying that most times early December, end of December and early January is always tough for Arsenal. But somehow they pick from the way they did last season and started challenging City. But before then, they have already out of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup before they start picking for. I don't know why they always do that. But in this game, what does Arteta need to do for him to get a win in this game? Because they need to win this game to move to the next round.
If I give Arteta any advice now, I'll give him the wrong advice. Make you not just listen to make you not just listen to me, because this team is just well placed. You get, Calafiori is out again. I think that's why Luis Kelly started the last game. Timber on the right. If Timber is back from injury, play him.
Timber was not injury, was
on suspension.
So now, if the two of them are available, play them. Play a midfield of anyhow. I'm not going to say anyhow because I don't know how to put up the midfield. I don't know. See, I don't know what Arteta said. when he went into the Newcastle game with what's it called, the players like he went in, and when he went to the other game with Declan Rice, Moreno, and Jorginho, I felt like this man he's lost it. He's lost me here. So if you're going to go into this game, you're going into it with your best players, Jorginho and I say Jorginho, your best players, Odegaard and Partey and Declan Rice. Then fine.
Okay, do you think Arsenal should be signing players? This
Of course, I've been shouting it from the hills and from the mountains for the last 6 months or more that Arsenal need to sign somebody in any transfer window for the attack position. It makes no sense. Keep going over the defense, keep going over the midfield, keep going over the wing backs, keep going over the fullbacks, the AM, the DM, the wingers, and at the end of the day, you ignore the most important position up front, you know. And for one, I am not convinced, man. The numbers, the empirical numbers do not convince me Arsenal have any forward in that team. The numbers don't convince me, man. If you look at who they have up front, their highest goal scorer is Havertz. Havertz is not a striker in my books. It's not even a forward in my books. It should be a 10 replacing Odegaard when Odegaard is not available. And then if you look at what's his called now, Jesus should be camping more. But for me, naturally, if I take over the job tomorrow, Jesus Havertz are going. I sign a striker or two in that position. I get me somebody on the left and the right, because look at the numbers last season and this season. Something is off. And you need to have better figures to be able to even put up a fight against the big two. I think Arsenal have missed a big window in this season for them to close up that gap on City. And come next season, it's not going to be so merciful.
Okay, let's get the operation for that game. Is Arsenal versus Manchester United. That's the biggest game in this FA Cup, Emirates FA Cup run. Who wins?
They don't go like lose 2 home games now. For cup games, lose 2 home games, it will be a disaster. It will be a shameful thing. I think they just have to settle for. They will have to drop out of this one. United 2-1. Extra time.
Arsenal winning it 2-0.
Okay, let's see what happens in that game. Arsenal to
United call revenge.
Arsenal to win for John and for Nonso. Manchester United to win at the Emirates. So let's see what happens in that game. So that's all for the FA Cup. So let's move on to other leagues. We'll start with the Bundesliga, and we'll just talk about some of the games in the Bundesliga, not all. Yesterday is Dortmund versus Bayern Leverkusen. That game ended 2 for Dortmund and 3 for Bayern Leverkusen. They are not giving up.
As predicted.
They are not giving up that title chase. They want to actually challenge, because this got that the point. I think about 2 points now against Bayern Munich. They are playing today, but that game, good game, all right.
Good game. If you saw the Nathan Teller goal, just go back, watch the Nathan Teller goal. That's you know, when you call a strike from outside the 18 straight to the corner, man, fantastic goal. Fantastic goal for Nathan Teller.
When we called lineup yesterday, we were calling names of players that were on the bench.
For Patrick Schick too. Good brace for him.
When we were calling names of players that were starting, we were calling players that were on the bench, because when we saw the team, when I saw the team sheet, I saw important players on the bench. And I asked myself, what's this man thinking? But that was a good way to go. First minute of the game, you're already in the score sheet. Game went on 2-1. I was like, okay, fine, 2-1, 3-1. At some point, I saw 3-1. I'm like, okay, fine, this is good. The goals just kept coming, the goals just kept training, and all of a sudden, these people tried to fight their back into the team, and I think they got the penalty for that, and the game ended in what's it called, 3-2, and I'm like, okay, fine. The game continued to progress. Leverkusen were trying to get their extra goal to make it a goal, to get more on the goal margin. Dortmund were also fighting hard to get discussion.
I like the game. For that game, Alonso played a 4-4-2 flat in that game, which is good for them. Normally they play 3 at the back, but they play 4-4-2. Anyhow, that's why when some players are good, whether you play a 4-4-2, 4-5-1, 3, once you have a tactical player that understands the instruction to the letter,
like I said, it's not about formation on paper, because on paper we were seeing a 4-4-2, but when the game started, we were seeing the regular lineup. We see players make runs to certain areas, and you see that covering those areas, and if you look at them properly, they are sitting in their normal, natural position and natural style of play.
Okay, for another game is Mönchengladbach versus Bayern Munich. They are playing today. That's the other title contenders. Bayern Munich needs to win this game. Any point drop now is going to be very, very disastrous.
I'm not scared for Munich.
Remember, Kane is chasing down his first trophy, and these guys suddenly, they lost that first game, drew some couple of them, and we was thinking, okay, they are one season wonder. Bayer Leverkusen, but suddenly they picked up form again, and they are almost close to Bayern Munich. But in this game against Mönchengladbach, what do you think? Bayern Munich needs to just win it.
For me, I'm not worried for Munich. Munich are going to get their points. They are going to score their goals, and they are going to win. You know, for me, this Bundesliga title has been done and dusted.
Wow, they just
Munich.
they are only 1 point behind.
I don't really care.
Okay.
I don't really care if Leverkusen are 1 point behind.
We talk last season. All of
I
a
don't
sudden,
care if
we talk last season. All of a sudden, Leverkusen won the table.
It's not my business, but for me, I think Munich are winning it this year, and they should be able to win Gladbach.
Munich are out of the cup already.
Yes.
And who comes them? Leverkusen. And Leverkusen is like as if they are going to win that cup back to back. For the first time in their club, in the club history, winning what's it called, cup, this in back to back, German Dutch cup back to back. Now the league is still open. We keep saying it is a marathon, not a sprint. We understand that Bayern Munich are the biggest side on the team, and they definitely don't want to win it and go back and do back to back under Vincent Kompany. But this man is not letting his foot up the feather. You get, but Mönchengladbach on the other hand, they are still targeting their place in Europe. I think they've lost that spot in Europe and they are targeting it back. So everything is up for play for both sides. But Mönchengladbach win this one, they have a shot at going to the Continentals next season. Bayern Munich win this one, they have a shot at winning the trophy, and they extend the point back to 4 points. But for Mönchengladbach win, it's just 1 point.
Okay, let's see what happens in that Bundesliga title race in this second half of the season. I like when these things are happening. You know, those years it's just Bayern winning with 10 points, 7 points, 15 points.
As I said, waiting to second place.
Yes, Dortmund wasn't really challenging them, but
Leipzig. They
yes.
never even doing anything.
But now, Bayer Leverkusen came in since last season, and it's obvious that Alonso is here to stay. Probably, maybe after this season, one big clause. Maybe Arsenal might even bring him to the Emirates because it's possible. Because
so you want to trade Arteta for Alonso?
But it's possible. My trade places too. Okay, let's see what happens in the Bundesliga. Okay, let's move over to the Serie A. The Serie A is happening. Today and tomorrow. I'll give you the fixtures of today and tomorrow. Some of the fixtures, and for last night. Yes, the last night's game is Lazio 1, Como 1. I think good point for Como first.
Good point for Como.
Guendouzi with the assists. When I say put up a fight, now Shebi John won't kill me. When I say put up a fight, John won't stone me for this show. When you see they put up the fight, I look at it. Guendouzi with the assist, got the first goal. All of a sudden they just stepped up. I think the red card, the subs. You get there's this, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Truaba ability color. You get the red card in the 56th minute. All of a sudden in the 58th minute, you get another yellow card. Like your yellow card in less than 2 minutes, 2 yellow cards. As you get the yellow card the first 2 minutes ago, your head not corrected, you're supposed to sit up, you're supposed to do well. You just continue to go offensively, you just continue to do something. I don't understand how to pull it now. And you got the second yellow card, and that was the problem for them.
Okay, let's see what that game ended 1-1 Lazio and Como for this weekend fixture in the Serie A. I'll give you the fixtures. Udinese is going to play in Atlanta. Remember, Atlanta and Lukman are looking to win that title, the Serie A title. This is the Empoli is playing Lecce. Torino is playing Juventus, Milan versus Cagliari, Genoa versus Parma, Venezia versus Inter Milan, and Bologna versus Roma, Napoli versus Verona, and Monza versus Fiorentina. That's happening on Monday. Okay, let's see what happens in this title race, because in title race, if you look at the table in the Serie A, Napoli is now first, even though they have played more games with 44 points. Then Atlanta is in 41, Inter Milan is in 5. They are 40. If they win their outstanding games, it's a very close title race. So let's see what happens in the Serie A. Okay, remember tomorrow let's talk about the Spanish Super Cup, the El Clasico that is happening tomorrow in Spain. That's El Clasico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Both of them won their semi-final of that game. Barcelona winning Atletico Bilbao to reach the final, and Real Madrid winning that game against Mallorca to reach that final. Now tomorrow they face each other in that El Clasico encounter. The last time they faced, it was a thrashing. Barcelona trashed Real Madrid. Yeah. But this now is a cup final. I'm not expecting a thrashing. Even though that thrashing was at Santiago,
yeah.
They tried them at Santiago, so it's still possible. But what do you think will happen in that tomorrow's game, in that El Clasico Super Cup final?
That time Real Madrid signed a player, they try experiment to the player.
If they like give excuse.
But now I don't say the team don't balance. The team don't balance. The team don't balance. The team don't orange. The team don't do well. Everywhere yellow like orange. And now they go wear that tomorrow. They go wear orange cup. They go play well.
I don't think they'll play. They always wear white in the classic.
You are now beginning to sound like the Chelsea man.
They always wear white at the classic. Okay, John, if you look at that game, what do you think will happen? This is a classic. A classic is always a big game when it comes to Spain, and they are playing each other again.
Yeah, like for me, it's going to be a tough match. It's not going to be a walkover by any long shot for Real Madrid. No, Barca are going to win.
But Real Madrid will win.
Barca are going to
It's
win.
going to be a walk. It's not going to be a walkover, Abi.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one. But me, I'm telling you now that it's going to be a walkover for Real Madrid. 2-0.
2-0 is not a walkover now.
Oh,
Okay,
2-0
that one concerning 2-0. Real Madrid. You know, last I called people that will score. Only one do me well. The others just embarrassed the scoreline. Now let me give you the scoreline now. Valverde, my boy, my Uruguayan star, is on the score sheet. This one. Real Madrid to run them right.
They are not playing in this thing on Santiago Bernabeu.
If the thing they tell you go
they are
win,
playing in
then they play for Middle East. They tell you go score, who go win. Valverde number 1. You get Rodrigo 92 minutes game out.
Okay, that Classico is happening tomorrow. Let's see who wins that Super Cup. As I used to stay on this show, every country, every league, top 5 league takes that their Super Cup seriously. Apart from England, that treat their own as if it's a friendly game. I think they should move it mid-season so that everyone will take it seriously. Because
I don't think so.
I think because of commission they play. Even though when I was growing up, Spain they used to play their own Super Cup. Even though they play, it's one of but it's home and away. That's how they play. But they play before the season starts.
Yes.
Everyone start moving into the Middle East to America to make more money and all that.
They move into the Middle East because of the weather.
No, it's not money.
It's not weather, it's money, bro. It's money.
If you play it in the summer in the Middle East, also if you run, you will just like
the money.
It's money. Why do you think they're all going to one country, Saudi Arabia?
I just see that's what I'm saying. Moving into the summer, moving into the winter, and play it in the Middle East is because of the weather and the funds. Because if you play it in the summer, when season is still starting, the players will not be able to catch up.
They play it in Spain. They're at either Madrid or Barcelona home stadium or what's it called now, Wanda Metropolitano. That's where they play.
When that Classico started, when that
it was home and away.
It was home and away. You
play your home and you play away.
Home and away, but then you play it locally in the two rivals.
Yes, and the thing is during the summer.
It's not normally it's supposed to be the first game
before the season starts.
Yes.
But then they now moved it to mid-season. But let's see what happens in that tomorrow's Classico is happening. Is Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Okay, let's go back to the transfers. Transfer window is also they will start with Chelsea. Marisa has been talking to the press conference, and Chukwuemeka is obviously going to be leaving Chelsea this January. Another player that is expected to leave Chelsea is Chilwell, but no club is coming for Chilwell now because of his the money he's collecting, and he's fit, but it's the money. Who won't pay 200, almost 200,000 pounds?
Even about the money, because if you look at the money finish, clubs, you get clubs if you pay the 200,000 pounds.
Which club?
You get clubs if you pay.
Which
club? How I go take pay that money? You can't go hospital.
But Chukwuemeka showed potential when they brought him in at Chelsea, especially when Pochettino played him. He was saving Chelsea. He comes in and saves Chelsea.
Saves the day.
So he went on injury and came back, but Marika obviously doesn't trust him. So, but him leaving Chelsea, and what do you make of it?
With the applause Maresca can I say he comes to the club, free some players out. Then other coaches do and want to crucify them. John now is saying something about Thiago Motta for doing it to some other players in the Juventus camp. But for this man now, he's frozen out a couple of players and he still dealt with the fact that he doesn't want them. Now defensively, you need some of those players to come in and play for you. And they are nowhere to be called. They are nowhere to be found. They are playing somewhere good football somewhere else in across the world. So I just feel like him now, looking at exposing or perhaps releasing some players. If these players leave the club and other players that are playing in that position have injuries, what will you do?
It's to his own demise then, because he make the choices and he has to live with the consequences thereof. Simple.
Okay, talking about Chelsea, let's talk about the new coach. Moyes has officially signed for Everton, so he's going to be the new coach of Everton. It's
till
like
2027.
That's what I was surprised with the length of the contract. 2 years contract. Okay, mostly they give everybody 2 years contract.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. They give everybody 2 years contract these days. But Moyes going back to the Premier League after losing his job West Ham sacked him, but him going to Everton, he took Everton to their first Champions League.
Yes.
In recent days, I don't know for the olden days, for the recent memory, it took that one. Yobo was there. I think he was the captain. I can remember Yobo them playing that Champions. They were knocked out in the group stage. They almost
Normally now.
after that one, they don't even reach that. They don't even near
That's they go European 2 years.
Okay.
One thing I like with Moyes now, if he don't put my team, they go declare in the Premier League. I think that time he was trying to play them come to settle in the Premier League was only a sacked him. Now this one has come in with the Premier League. I think that time he was trying to play them come to settle in the Premier League was only a sacked him. Now this one has come in with another version of slower players. So for him going back to West Ham and for him going back to Everton now, I think with the new investors, they want to build from where the basic started. You get? It's not about build after 2 years, you bring another manager and you destroy. Moyes is the manager that when he gets a team, if another coach come in, look the coach they come into that team, the coach will see those players play another 4 years. You get?
Why do you think that happen at West Ham though?
Now because the person replaces
Why did it happen
sense.
at West Ham
Now
though?
because
Baba got rid of almost every player.
He didn't get rid of them.
Moyes brought
He
got rid of them. Now he knocked them out. He sold some, and then some of them were let go. Let's call it what it is.
How many?
Don't come and whitewash it. Where is Zuma? Where is the other guy?
Zuma is out on loan.
Yes.
Price is out on loan.
Yes.
Who other player you want call? They.
Where are the
They just the bench. You get? Moyes was what you didn't understand is Moyes was working with a tight knit group. You get? And you bring in half a dozen kind of players to come and function well. You need to pair them with the players. I think for Ward-Prowse was old enough. You need plenty old men on the bench. Ward-Prowse was old enough to be about 30 or so. Now you bring in a Solar to compete with him. Now having 230 years, just like having Casemiro and Eriksen, when you need to have pace, there's nobody to bring it in the team. So that's the problem for what's it called for Lopetegui. But if you look at Moyes' pattern, all the clubs he's coached, even at Everton, when he left Everton, after the first 4 years, some of his players still stayed. You get? When he left Man United at well, if you look at when he left Man United for LVG, after LVG took over, most of those players stayed with LVG for 2 years before LVG lost his job. Even some of the players met Mourinho on the job.
How many of those players did he bring in the first place, man?
He didn't bring enough players when.
What are we not saying?
Let's
talk about him being Everton. Do you think they can? Okay, Everton is. I don't know if they are fighting for relegation or not, but they are almost in that battle.
Yeah, no, they are far from it.
Yeah, in six, probably they are going. Do you think that Moyes is the right man to take this club forward? Yes or no? So we can move to the other transfer news.
I felt like Southampton should have brought him in earlier. He might have at least done something for
Southampton or Everton.
Southampton would have earlier, like I said, when Southampton were looking for a manager, they would have at least brought him in earlier. He would have done something different for them than lose the next game. But Everton has brought him in now. I think he's just going to build on it and get them to where they used to be in the top half of the table.
I think he should just make use of this window rather than wait for someone.
Look, he's definitely going to make use of this window, release some of the players like that McGill, McNeil. Where Shanda is bring from Burnley, just send him off.
Yeah, the guy has been actually doing well though, but let's see what.
Do well or not do well, send and come out. You don't have anything.
Cannot do
McNeil.
Probably in the summer you can now you need to add players, not to remove.
You don't need to remove anybody now.
Add, not to remove. That's
but
how
what you just do now is taking note of who
yes,
you are going to.
You cannot just come in and just remove
players. When Maresca all of a they hate the guy, say don't do well.
Let me tell you something about some of these things. When sometimes they enter. Somebody, for example, if I want Sterling and Chilwell to leave my club, the person that will go and say it is the manager. Even if the manager have it in mind to use Sterling, for example, because if you look at that Sterling situation, he moved with Chelsea to pre-season. He played all the games.
Yes.
But suddenly, I don't need him again. Probably somebody at the board have told him, this player is collecting 500,000 pounds.
We need him out
of this club, so you need to just freeze him out.
And your hands are tied because
it happens in the club. So sometimes you don't actually blame coaches. Sometimes they say this thing because the club wants to. Because
my analysis is that after you weed these players and you went and replaced them with baskets.
Okay, let's see. Okay, you can call us now and tell us what you think, especially about your prediction for that Manchester United and Arsenal game. Call us and tell us your own prediction. The number to call is 0706 048 5853. Let's take calls before we talk about other transfer news. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Godwin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Marco and John, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice discussion this morning. No much argument. Nice discussion.
Name and location.
That is Bishop from Transition.
Okay.
This is I want to say. Yeah, just say something at the time that caught my eye.
Okay.
And I think that's what it should be, how it should be going. But you hardly see it. This thing should be like a government, a continuity. Like, when he could leave from where that one stop. But it doesn't happen.
Yes.
That's why I always say kudos to do. You should have run Liverpool team. They are professionals.
Yes.
They deserve it.
Exactly.
People need to study how that club is being run. It's like your station. People need to study how the great institutions are being run. Look at how Ansel you see. No one player, Piazza is not even playing. We're not even to argue that one. You come and concentrate on what club has done. It's like a government. Where this governor live? If this governor comes, you should start from when this one stop. No foundation entirely. But we don't start with football, which is very bad. And we spend money with this group. This one will come and condemn entirely what the other one did. I don't know why it's so. Apart from this Liverpool and Madrid, I have not seen a coach that comes to Madrid and
Madrid does that too, yes.
You can get one and two will leave, or the other one will come, but not entirely rebuilding like Chelsea and you, Arsenal and Barcelona. Because if you consider all of them, 10 to 5 will leave.
But mine never done
It shouldn't
that.
be so. It shouldn't be so. If you West Ham or even they will come, they will say, no.
Don't put West Ham there. Put West Ham in that category. We've kept
Thank you.
They have
Thank
kept a see.
Not kept
No,
nothing.
they've kept now.
All the players these guys signed are going out.
Wait, let him finish.
What I'm saying is that if this club or these coaches or this who run the club should run it that way, the way you suggested, it is enjoyable now. In fact, Liverpool is doing it now. This man will win this Premier League, biggest and slot. Even without signing everyone, it's based on what another person has done. Then finally, before I drop, what Man U and Arsenal is going to play. I'm not after of the result if they lose or drop. I'm after of two things. One, you lose to them the last number 3 services. I'm going to know if they learn. You get?
Yes.
I don't want them to where they have learned. Then, or them from beating those services. That's how you learn. Like, look at how them learn. They last game, but they last game, the man the Arsenal got like 10 over 10 corners in that game done, right?
Yes.
So in either man you don't allow just things. That is better than Arsenal play the whole 90 minutes and get like 2 or 3 corners that they have learned. Or even if you bring them 12 corners, don't allow them to score 1. You get where I'm going.
Yes.
So this is the perspective I'm going to watch the match from.
Okay.
If Arsenal can create open chance and win and score them in that game, it's a normal game. Anybody can win or lose. But losing on that set piece on Monday, I won't be happy. On Sunday, I won't be well now. It shows that they are not learning or they are not working hard. Because if I have fought with you and see that they are good at throwing punches, it's either I should go and learn how to stop the punch
Or learn how to take the punch and not feel the pain.
All right. Thank
that
you.
means that I'm learning or I'm improving.
All right. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you. Call us and tell us your prediction for that game. Is Arsenal and Manchester United. They are playing tomorrow at the Emirates. Tell us your prediction for that game or what you think will happen in that game. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Sorry, Colin.
Good morning. What's your prediction?
My brother, give me another picture. What do you mean by picture? This is that man. This is
Okay. Yes.
4-0.
Okay.
Then they will trash Man U. Man U has to win Man U.
Okay.
2-0.
2-0.
That's my observation.
Okay.
Any transfer for us? Any transfer?
No transfer.
Una wan sell. No dey
Una
buy.
wan sell now.
Huh?
Una wan sell Chukwuemeka and Chilwell and this big hall. Yes.
Before we get money for buying now.
Maybe yes.
Because I know say we will go buy with my own money na financial paper to catch up. I will catch Man U.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
What's up, man? Sorry.
Koyi, come on, you Irons.
All right. Thank
Una
you very much.
go give us this brew for loan now.
Okay. Rumor that West Ham Potter is looking to bring in this big hall and Chilwell from Chelsea.
No, we have left back. Yapa.
And Chilwell.
This brew is coming.
Nice move.
If
I
this one
think
is coming,
this big hall is good, but I don't know for Chilwell.
this one is coming. Yeah, you already have 2 left backs. What are you using the third one to do? Emerson is there. He's doing well.
Who is your second left back?
Aaron.
Wow. Cresswell.
He better pass Chilwell anytime, any day. I don't
Wow.
want. See,
I forgot that guy is still at West Ham.
9 minutes.
I'm telling you.
Emerson not replace her. Even there was something this guy did last night, and the guy that played there, Oliver, he's played under Moyes before in Carabao Cup games. I've seen Oliver play. Oliver is still better than Chilwell. I'll say it anytime any day with my full chest.
Okay.
I don't need Chilwell for that team.
Okay, but this big hall I think is a good move. Let's see if he goes to West Ham. Okay, yeah, hello, good morning. Yeah, hello, good morning. Okay, I can't hear you. You can call back 0706 048 5853. Call us and tell us your prediction for that game against Arsenal and Manchester United. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Name and location, please.
This is Man United calling from IMT.
Okay,
welcome.
What is the operation for tomorrow's
Yes,
game?
no, so sorry, oh.
Person, who's on tell me sorry? Person get accident. Person is sick.
John, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, hey, we are brothers on that side, but you get what you talk. I want to ask.
Oh yeah, no, fire down.
How many points Man United get for Europa now?
I will check and get back to you. Don't worry.
Okay, tell me again. Then you take City point with Man United point. Which one they in position to qualify?
Okay, now I understand what you're saying.
You say no, they no put us say no, so they give us soft landing. We see between Man United and Man City who they fight for soft landing. We are qualifying. We see how City go qualify.
We are qualifying, no? That's
Of
no
course, we are
problem.
going to qualify. Whether at 25 or 26 position.
So far as we know they outside
We are
that
going to
qualification
win
zone, we are
Arsenal by 2
good.
goals to nil.
Okay.
Write it, John. Write it down.
Okay. Man United fans that are going to be strong this
Yes.
season because they are wondering how we can enter this wahala in first round. Everybody is collecting small things. We can't collect ourselves.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens on tomorrow's game. It's going to be a good game for Arsenal and Manchester United. So let's the better team win. My name is Godwin. I'll be seeing you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend.
Hello, Enugu, and welcome to Vote 104.3 FM.